Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Parkour Coach Companion episode 17 now. It's a beautiful day in York and I'm joined with the one and only Hector Dominguez, who is my assistant coach and who I have talked about quite a few times on the podcast actually. I don't know whether you know that, Hector, but I have talked about you quite a few times.
Yeah, probably. Thanks for that.
So thank you for coming on. This has been a while coming now. We talk all the time, but Hector has a lot of really interesting ideas. He's been coaching for a long time. And I just want to show Hector off really. So Hector, welcome. How are you doing? Tell us a little bit about what you're up to at the moment and what you're doing in the UK.
Okay, well, hello everyone. My name is Hector, as everyone know. Well, a bit of my background, okay? I have been coaching for a long time now, since I started as most of the old school parkour practitioners or coach, teaching in the street. I started to teach in the street when I was about 16, more in a more serious way when I was 16, but I properly started when I was around 14 or something like that. I just took a bunch of kids on the street on my area and I just teach them parkour, and nowadays they still teaching parkour. So yeah, that's how it started. Then I started my studies and I started to study PE and sport coaching. And what I thought it was perfect, because my dream was always being able to teach parkour on a professional way. So I decided to study that to be able to give something to parkour, to be able to make parkour more professional. Well, after that, I took 6 months in Sweden working in Katana Parkour. Personally, the best parkour gym in Europe. It's so cool. The design and the place is so nice. The people working there put a lot of work in this gym. So it was really, really nice to work there for a summer, for 6 months. And then everything started here. I came to York to finish my sports and coaching degree, and then I stayed for a master. This is when I met Sam, and we became really good friends, and Dean as well. And now the York parkour community has treated me like a family, like a brother. So to be fair, I only can say thanks to the English community for how well they have treated me here since I came. And that's all.
Good. That's what we like to hear. And that's good, especially as the York community is so small. So
Yeah.
that's really nice to hear. But yeah, what motivates you to coach? Why do you even coach it? Because I know a lot of people do parkour and they enjoy parkour, but I know that you actually get a lot out of coaching. You're very enthusiastic. So why? Like, what's the point of coaching?
Well, this question comes from the question as well of why do you do parkour, for example. So for me, coaching, in some ways, it's a opportunity to give to the humanity in some ways, or the community, what parkour have teach me back. So for me, parkour, it's nothing more than human evolution, to be fair. For me, parkour is the evolution of the humans. We have been thinking we are not able to climb walls or jump walls for years. And actually, we are now just discovering the actual possibilities of the human body. For example, Don Tomato, who is showing us that it's possible for the human body to take 3 floors landing and don't receive any problems. We are now just expanding the limits of the brains and the humans. That's all I want to do. I want to expand the limits of the people. That's why I coach, and that's why I do parkour, because I know the human body can do much than what people is actually doing. So I'm just looking for that to improve the society and the humanity with some parkour and movement.
Yeah, man. There's lots to go into. I know you've written some notes as well on things that we've talked about before, so I'm going to pick out things from there, and you can just talk about them. I think one that you've been talking about a lot recently, which I want to hear more about, is the idea of physical literacy. So tell the listeners what you understand by this term, and I know it gets you very excited. So yeah, tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, okay, this is my communication for every parkour coach that is gonna listen to this. Okay, I'm gonna try to explain it really fast and really simple, so it don't get too hard to understand. But the concept of physical literacy, basically, it's a old concept. It's been in the physical education discipline for a long time now, but now we have been studying this concept of physical literacy, and I have been specializing myself a lot in it. And from these studies, I have understood that physical literacy is basically the academic way to say parkour. Everything that parkour has been teaching us for years, the adaptability to environment, the self-confidence on the jumps, the fulfillment of the movement, all these are into the physical literacy concept. What is physical literacy? The physical literacy, it's the ability of the kids or the humans to be able to, in some ways, adapt and interact with the environment in many ways through the basic movement skills. So basically, through the movement basic skills, this concept says that we are able to enhance the self-confidence of the kids. So this includes a psychological aspect. We are able to improve as well all the basic movement skills of the kids are improved through this physical literacy concept. So it's really good for the parkour coaches to study about this concept, because this concept is the way to explain the muggles why parkour is marvelous, why parkour is just the best thing ever. Well, parkour is the best thing ever because physical literacy says this, and people nowadays is forgetting kids' mobility, and the kids' mobility it's being forgotten. And at PE classes, I have been at PE classes because I'm working in a high school now. At PE classes, what do you see? Rules, sports, but actually physical educators are not physically educating, and parkour coaches are doing it. Why? Because in parkour we see the physical literacy. We encourage kids to keep this movement through the life course, and we encourage the kids to not only come and do some jumps, we encourage the kids to go out and do it by themselves as well. Because what we're teaching at the end is real life skills. So if every parkour coach in the world just studied about physical literacy, went to any high school, any school in your town, and say, listen, I'm parkour coach, I know about physical literacy, I have been studying to apply parkour in the schools and high schools, we can do something to add parkour on your schools and high schools. And if every one of us did that, well, the world could be basically a better place, to be fair.
So where do you hear this phrase physical literacy then? When did you hear about it first?
I heard about it first 1 year ago when I came to England. Basically my tutor, Brett Wilkie, bit high to him if he's saying this. This guy This guy's got a lot of interest on parkour and movement culture. We have been working for 2 years now on research about physical literacy and movement. Last year we did a research about comparing the self-perception of the kids with their actually performance on basic movement skills test. So last year we did this and we realized that physical education in schools is not being well oriented on physical literacy. So we found basically that kids are not physical literate in the schools because they are not being taught anything about basic movement skills. They are just being taught to throw, hop, run, and sprint, and bounce, and kick. But the problem here is that when he said to me 1 year ago, basic movement skills, if I say to you basic movement skills, what will you think basic movement skills are?
For me, from parkour, like jumping, rolling, climbing,
Yeah.
vaulting, like.
So yeah, that's what I thought as well. That's what I thought as well. But can you imagine that when I just said to him, okay, why is not a basic movement skill vault? Why is not a basic movement skill swing? Why is not a basic movement skill flip? Because actually, that's the thing. Parkour. I had a meeting with Dan, and he told me this, and I was like, yeah, that's what I needed. He said parkour was born from the task and not from the outcome. I think it was maybe or something like that. Well, basically, it was something like that. Football was created from a ball, and they wanted to kick it. So they created football, that it's a game based on kicking a ball. But parkour was born differently. Parkour was always there, and just someone just said, "I'm gonna do this." Doesn't matter the way, doesn't matter the technique. The only thing here is that you actually do it. So yeah, I listened about physical literacy the last year, and then this year with the master we started working in a much parkour based project called the necessity of the environment, and now I'm using the physical literacy to try to test the movement creativity of the kids through a game that we created. So that's what we're using physical literacy nowadays. But it's mostly that. It's a really interesting concept that every parkour coach should be able to understand. I even say to Dan, you should add this physical literacy concept to the level 1 on Adapt, because it will be really good for the coaches to be able to understand the physical literacy of the kids. Because as coaches, if you are able to understand the physical literacy of the kids, you are able to understand who needs more help, who might need more adaptations, who might need more corrections, who might need more games, who might need more encouragement, who might need more inclusion, who might need more, I don't know. It's physical literacy goes, everyone is physical literate, but they don't know it. Everyone's got different levels of physical literate, and it depends of you and being able to see it. Physical literacy is one of these things that you see all the time, but until someone don't tell you that it's there, you don't actually see it. So have you ever seen someone going on the bike with no hands and the hands in the pocket because it's too cold? Okay, this is the perfect example for physical literacy. Physical literacy goes about using the sports and the physical activity on your real life and being able to adapt because you know yourself. Self-knowledge. If you know yourself, you know what you don't like, and you can avoid it, and you can adapt yourself. So that's physical literacy, basically.
Very nice, very nice.
It's a nice concept.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot for people to think about there. And so how do you find teaching in the UK compared to back home?
This is a really nice question because I like to talk about the difference of the countries. I feel lucky about being able to say that I have been teaching parkour in 3 different countries. We only being 21. To be fair, I'm happy of that because now I can tell how much the kids change in every country. And I couldn't say what kind of kids are my favorites because all of them are really nice kids. But a big difference is, for example, with Sweden. Sweden is the biggest difference. To be fair, England and Spain don't have many difference. If I will say on the coaching style, obviously, yeah, because in Canary Islands we don't have any parkour gyms, so we have to teach on the street all the time. And in Sweden we had a really nice gym to teach. Here we've got a really nice equipment to teach. But the first difference I will say is the kids. In England and Spain, the kids don't change much. I will say that there are really significant difference between them, but I will need to study a bit more about it. I will need to like write them down in every session. But definitely, Sweden's got the shyest kids in all the list. The shyest, yeah. But they were not shy. They were respectful at you. It's honestly, it's incredible the way the Swedish kids were so respectful. I asked them to be disrespectful on me. I had to ask them to talk between them. I had to ask them talk between them. I had to ask them to try different things, to not follow what I said all the time. Try to create at the end, because we always try to create as well in the classes. So yeah, like at the end, after the first 2 sessions, they started to become like more open with me, but still it was impressive how between classes they played with me. They tried to throw me into the foam pit. They threw foam pit bits at me, but at the moment of the start of the class, they were all silent, looking at me, paying attention. It was too good, to be fair. And well, you know the experience of here. Sometimes we have English kids are not bad, but they are rascals. They are little rascals. They are little rascals. They like to mess around. They are funny kids, so they are really excited. They got a lot of energy, so it's normal. But yeah, that would be the biggest difference on the classes. Yeah.
And so when you coach, how do you manage energy within a class? Like if for example these Swedish kids are quite shy and a bit more reserved, how do you help them with that? And also if a class is too boisterous and too crazy and chaotic, what methods do you use to manage the energy of a class?
Well, as PE, to be fair, I should be able to tell you what methods I use, and I actually know them. But I will be fair. I will be honest. I improvise. Like, to be fair, yeah. If I see that some kids need some, I don't know, like excitement, I always use the classic. Okay, are you excited? Are you ready? Yeah. Well, I don't listen. Yeah. Well. It's really classic, but it always works. Like if I see that some kids need some energy, sometimes I can just try to pass them some of my energy, being just happy about having them there. Or, for example, in the opposite case, I will have a class that it's too excited. I will just say, okay, I know you're getting too excited, but if you want to keep doing the funny things, you need to keep having a proper behavior. At the end, this is like psychology, isn't it? Enforcement or not. Like, if you've got a correct answer, you reinforce that attitude, that behavior. If you don't have a correct behavior, then you will do something to reinforce, change this behavior. So it's a bit like that, to be fair. I use a bit of that psychology of, you do something bad, I will take something of you, always on the limits, because kids are really delicate and we can't treat them bad, because I will say this really clear, kids are the future. If we treat bad the kids, the humanity is going to be bad in the future. So we need to treat kids always with the same respect as they treat us. In that means, if they don't respect us, we have to keep respecting them, but we cannot try to keep this behavior, because it will become worse. And as coaches, we have to remember this. This is something really important. This is a message for all the coaches. Being coach doesn't mean that you don't physically educate, because in the sports world, the academic sports world, they've got like the physical education and the coaching, and they never try to mix it. But honestly, I think parkour could be that thing that could mix physical education and coaching, because in coaching, they say that coaches only focus on coach a sport, make athlete, and physical educators focus on educating physically. And do you know what's the funny thing? Actually, they have been doing the opposite. Like at the schools and high schools, physical educators don't physically educate, and coaches like us at our classes, we physically educate kids. We haven't only teach. I think for our classes, we can tell we are really good coaches on that, because we haven't been teaching only parkour. If you focus on only teach parkour kid, your work as coach is gonna be quite sad. If you only focus on teaching Kong, pass, pre, or climb up, it's not about that. It's about teaching values. It's about teaching self-knowledge, self-confidence, and leadership. We need to get these values into the kids on every class we do. Otherwise, our physical education is being forgotten in the coaching. So as coach, yeah, a kid is there to learn parkour, but I am not going to teach parkour to only one kid. I don't want to teach only parkour, because that's not why I'm doing this. I want to give them values and things to take for all their life.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess coaching for us, we fulfill a position of role model. Like, we can be role models, and we have an opportunity to instill these values. So what do you think are the most important values to teach children, and do you think that they come from parkour, or do you think that we just use parkour to kind of...
Well, yeah, that's a hard question. Well, the most important values in parkour, or at least the values that we should be teaching in parkour, I think there are self-confidence, self-knowledge, and leadership. So when I was doing my research, I came to this conclusion. Physical literacy can divide in 3 areas, okay? And movement divide in 3 areas as well, and they connect. So I'm gonna try to remind it, because it's been a long time since I don't think about this.
That's okay.
So in physical literacy, okay, we've got the self-confidence, self-knowledge, and of course adaptability. And on movement, we can see the execution, the imagination, and I think it was the creativity. No, not creativity, sorry. Leadership.
Okay.
No. I'm completely lost, to be fair, but I will try to make it.
Okay, no worries. Keep
Okay,
going.
so if we link the self-confidence with the movement parkour, it links perfectly. If we link the execution, okay, the performance, the final performance, what the kid does actually, parkour is better, it's the best, because his basic movement skills are innate things that are into our body by instinct, because basically humans have been moving all their life. It's just that in the last decades we have been limiting ourselves. And then we've got the leadership. This comes about with the self-confidence of the kid. If a kid is able to trust himself, trust its abilities, trust his skills, the mindset is going to change, because a kid is able to feel more confidence with itself. It's able to feel happy with his body, because this is going to sound weird, but kids might not have these thoughts of, well, oh, I'm fat, yeah, well, oh, I don't have big tits, I don't have a big ass. Kids don't think about it. Maybe some does, but just little bits, not like adults like us. You will probably be thinking about your physique constantly. Like, well, I look like I'm strong today. Well, good. I feel good today to go to train. Kids actually don't think about it, so kids need the feeling. If you teach parkour a kid, this kid is going to be able to move better, so this kid is going to feel better with himself. So this kid is going to be just happier on his life. And that's what we're looking for, a self-confidence and a self-trust of the abilities and just a happier life. Because kids are the future.
Cool. And so how do you feel when you coach? How do you feel when, because we've been coaching together for a while now. I mean, it's been on and off with the pandemic, but
yeah,
you're level 1 qualified now, and you really help me out in my sessions. But how do you feel when we do coach? What are the things that what are the feelings in your head that come to mind when you're in the zone of coaching, you know?
Okay. In the zone of coaching, most of the time, obviously, are a mix of feelings. Most of the time, it's concentration. I concentrate a lot. Like when I'm on a parkour class, there are few times that I enjoy. For example, when a kid smash a jump, that's a moment that I really feel. I honestly, probably all the coaches know about this feeling. This feeling when you see a jump, when this kid does a jump, and you like feel like, yes, that this feeling comes on different points, but most of the time is concentration. Like I look at every kid, every move, every hand, every step, every foot, every knee, every, I don't know, it's concentration. It's just like a state of everything that my eyes are looking to every kid, every mistake, everything that could be wrong, everything that could be right. It's like, yeah, it's like a mix of concentration all the time. But yeah, most of them is happiness. A bit sad sometimes when you see kids that are really good, so for that way underestimates the class and don't behave. So that's something I learned from you actually, that some kids could have a bad experience of parkour because of this kid's behavior. So that I feel a bit sad about that sometimes, but then always get sorted. So at the moment I have never felt like I wanted to kill myself in a parkour class. So that's good.
I'm glad. I'm very glad.
So yeah, that's good, I suppose.
Good. And what about when you're teaching older students? What about when you're teaching, you know, students? I know you've done some work with York Uni Parkour Society.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys. So how do you feel different when you teach them or when you teach, adults?
When I teach adults, I like to focus on task-based learning because I just think it's better for them to learn through task than just through techniques. But well, what I could feel different myself, maybe it's I don't know, to be fair, I feel the same, maybe a bit more excited on the adult classes because obviously adults got better capacity, so you could just find someone really really good and like enjoy a lot this class because this person is gonna improve a lot if he already got some basics on movement through his life. But yeah, with adults it's quite funnier to teach because they obviously you understand yourself more with them and they understand you more because you are both adults. So
Mm.
but still teach adults might be harder for us since we are adults. We got movement knowledge, so we don't know how an adult feels. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, you've got the parkour skills. I got the parkour skills. I know I can move. You know you can move. How feels a person who can't move some? Do you know that? Because I don't. I don't know how a person who I don't know a person who can't jump feel like, and
Not really
that's
good point, yeah.
something that's something we actually should study at some point. Like when I go walking on the street, I don't think about a wall being a problem for me, even even one of the highest. So how does a person feel in a wall where every wall it's there to stop you? Like, how is gonna feel a person like that in a war like this? So if you know this, you can maybe adapt to your classes and maybe make even better parkour classes. Who knows? At the end, this is physical literacy, adaptability. It's just there. We just didn't know it.
Mm. Yeah,
So yeah.
I think that's a really good point. I think we take for granted the things that we can do easily, the ways that we can move easily. The only thing that comes to mind in comparing that is when I went mountain biking last year, because I was just on this bike and I was taking on these trails and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I had a lot of tension, and I had a great time, but I was like kind of quite scared, and I did actually end up falling off. I hurt myself a little bit, not too bad, but I think there must be an element of tension. I think that people who are more competent at things.
So don't you think that? So that's the thing of parkour. If you didn't feel right because you was in the mountain. Probably you have been in the mountains 3 times every year, 4, maybe more.
Well,
So
yeah, I don't go biking very often. I'll put it that way.
so that's the point. You've got the environment. So Sam, I'm sorry to say you are not physical literate in the mountain because because
It's true.
because physical literacy changes with the environment as well. Because at the end, physical literacy is how you involve yourself in the environment. So yeah, you're not physical literacy in the mountain, but you are in the town, and you live in your town. You spend the 90% of the year in town, maybe around the city, on the street, with street environment in some ways. So what if we just teach every person to feel comfortable in this environment? We will change the mindset. People will live without fear, maybe, to the streets, because, well, and obviously all the things that comes with the mindset on stop seeing walls and start seeing opportunities. So I think that's why parkour is really good, because it's the only physical activity that is there constantly, is there all the time. You go to the street, you see it. once you know that you can jump from one wall to other, you start seeing it. You start seeing, oh, this jump, this jump. So this is the thing. This is the only sport, the only activity that could have this change in the people, because parkour is everywhere and parkour is so constant that could be a behavior constant, just like eating, sleeping. It's something we do every day. Parkour could be there in our lives all day. Parkour is just in the street, you see it every day. It's just about getting confident with that, what you see.
And what do you think the best way of helping people become more self-confident in parkour is?
Well, it's a hard question. How to make people more confidence on parkour?
Yeah.
Well, it depends of the person, obviously. If you are a parkour athlete and you just got a big jump, and your fear is just doing that jump because, I don't know, you need confidence to do your jump at the end. The best way to add self-confidence is basic movement skills, but I'm talking on a more natural way. Here is when natural movement starts. I've been seeing this thing of natural movement, probably most of the people knows, but I think the confidence builds better through like little activities out of the sport you're doing. For example, well, parkour could be a way to build self-confidence, but for example, for me, it was really useful to start doing yoga and natural movement and jiu-jitsu. I don't know why. I think it's just about psychological process or behaviors concepts that I don't know because I'm not a psychologist, but probably one of them will know. But through this process of like adding things to your life, like for me, yoga, jiu-jitsu, and natural movement, obviously they are not parkour, but they are related with parkour. So working on that, I built a lot of self-confidence, and I have been able to understand a different parkour where I can risk even knowing that I won't be injured, or if I am injured, it will be small because I can take that risk because I know myself. I've got self-confidence, so I know I can save myself at any moment, and that anything out of my control should be wrong. That means that any problem, any mistake that could be done is not gonna be by me. It's not gonna be by me. Like, I can save myself all the time. I've got resource. So you have seen this by yourself, I suppose.
Well, this is it. I mean, for people who've not met Hector before, if you train with him just once, you'll see that he's just like a bouncy ball. He never he never gets injured. He just can take anything. It's very interesting. But here's where I think the common factor is with the three things you mentioned. You mentioned yoga, you mentioned jiu-jitsu, and you mentioned natural movement. It must be the relationship with the body and the floor.
Yeah, I think it's a relation with the floor movement.
Because we were teaching this, weren't we, the other day with the kids? We were making friends with the floor, you know?
Yeah.
And it's super interesting seeing, first of all, they all loved it. They all loved
They love to fail. It was crazy.
go and fall over, go and trip over this, go and land awkwardly. Kind of, they were actually quite excited about it. But
yeah, that was a lovely session. I remember it. It was a really nice session. I loved it.
But it seems like, yeah, having an awareness of the floor and awareness of objects in a more detailed way, or a more kind of...
Yeah, I get you. At the end is that basic movement skills. Like, is your body is yours. The human body is the best machine ever created. I will keep saying this. the capacities and the options that the human body and the environment got are honestly infinite. So when you think about a normal sport, any normal sport, there is always a limit. Always there is a limit. Football, obviously you see limits everywhere. Gymnastics, it could be the closest to parkour, but they created the limits because they are so stupid. They could have created parkour. They could have created parkour years ago. They could have made parkour a discipline. They could have made parkour something big. But they wanted to put limits to the movement, the human movement, and they created something they call now gymnastics. What is impossible for every kid in the PE classes. And basically, honestly, it's incredible how many kids hate sports all their lives because of physical education. It's been some research about it lately. I think it was, I don't want to say numbers, but it was a big number of people that in a interview research, they found out that a big number of people never tried sports in their life because of bad experience in physical education. And well, I mean, it's completely understandable when you got gymnastics on physical education and you are teaching rolling with your neck, like. So I mean, it's understandable because rolling with the neck, like who created this? I'm gonna tell you who created this. Gymnastics were created from the beauty of the movement, the human movement. Well, you know about gymnastics actually a lot. You're a gymnastics coach, but don't put that face. But well, gymnastics are created through the philosophy of the beauty of movement. So they look a lot for the symmetrical movement, okay? So that was the first problem of gymnastics, the symmetrical. Well, then they've got the exercise limits. They focus on one exercise. They don't mix the exercise. That basically limited the human movement for years. Gymnastics killed the movement. Gymnastics killed the movement. The humans, the society, have been thinking years that everything that a nice athlete could do was swing from a bar and do 3 twists. Well, parkour have taught it to the people that you can actually run, land on that bar, swing on that bar, swing to another bar, swing to a wall, land on a wall, bounce from a wall, land on the bar. Do you know what I mean? So the human movement is much bigger than what gymnastics made think the humans. So this is where my call to all the coaches come. Coaches, you need to give parkour a professional way. This means we need to start making people respect parkour, because parkour is a nice discipline. Parkour is, I will say, parkour is the future. And I've got a teacher at the uni that have said this to me already. Parkour is the future. Parkour is gonna make people see the world on a different way. And parkour is gonna be a humanity improvement in the behaviors and the mindset. And this guy, it's Mark Mierzinski. He's a sociologist and he's really clever. He's got really nice research. And he just said to me, yeah, movement culture is gonna kill it. Capoeira, dancing, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, natural movement, parkour, tricking is our best friend, okay? Tricking is the evolution of gymnastics. Tricking is, how do you call this? Flat floor, the exercise of gymnastics where you basically just do exercise on a straight line in the floor. Is that how you call it?
Floor. Yeah.
Floor. Well, why people is still doing floor and why athletes don't do tricking on the Olympic? it's 10 times more impressive and probably twice harder. Yeah, and the way they use the fluency of the movement, honestly, like, and the most interesting thing is that we have been talking on the university about fluency of movement, creativity of movement, and all these cathedratics didn't know about parkour and tricking. And when I just showed them a video of a friend doing tricking, I said, "Oh, look, this is tricking," and they were like, They say this is what we're looking for on the sports: fluency of movement, creativity, self-understanding, and obviously it's dope. It's so nice. It's so cool, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's the evolution of the movement, that we have to work on that. We have to work on make the people understand that parkour is useful.
Great. Yeah, I'm all for it. I think from day one, I've understood the potential of parkour, and I think you're right in that dabbling in other disciplines can be really, really useful. Looking into not just for students, but for practitioners, but for coaches as well. I've been to jiu-jitsu classes, I've been to yoga classes, and seeing how they approach movement just themselves is really interesting, because parkour practitioners in the community do tend to be quite kind of insular. We do tend to be quite focused on us. We're not always looking outside to different areas, and yeah, it's great that in many ways movement culture has become a lot more talked about, studied, practiced over the last few years. It's really promising, like it, and hopefully yeah, as you said, things can keep moving, and we can try and persuade people who don't enjoy sports that they can still enjoy movement and they can still enjoy exercise, because that stays with you for life.
Definitely.
I can't imagine a time in my life where, well, fingers crossed, where I can't move in some way. Like, even if I have some horrible illness or injury, then I'll get into Tai Chi or like Feldenkrais or yoga, or because that's just embedded in my brain now, that it's enjoyable and it's healthy and it makes me feel good. So
yeah, talking about something you just said, I really like how the movement is being researched lately. So yeah, why we didn't know about all these things before? Well, basically because no one was researching about them. It's just like depression and anxiety. Why we thought depression and anxiety was like for soft people. We have been thinking that for years. We have been thinking that having depression or anxiety was like, oh yeah, you've got depression, no, you're soft. Well, no, actually, we just found that it's a serious problem. It's a serious problem, and it's not just being soft. It's actually something that no one wants to experience, because it's bad. So it's the same. Why we didn't know about all the possibilities of movement and parkour, because it's never been researched before, and that's why I call here every parkour practitioner that it's at university now. It's your moment. The interdisciplinary work, it's going more and more every day. So yeah, guys, find more people that like things about parkour, get close with them, and use your disciplines to mix and create new things. So I think this is gonna need example to be explained, because it's so for example, we've got two disciplines. We've got physical activity and we've got music. What we create, dance. That's interdisciplinary work. So we've got parkour and we've got psychology. What can we create? I don't know, because I'm
Movement
not
therapy.
psychologist. Movement therapy, that's it.
Mm.
So we've got environmental,
Mm.
an environmental professional. We've got a physical activity and physical education professional. What can we do? We could find new ways to teach. We could find new ways to offer parkour. We could find. The point is adapt parkour to other things to make those things better, and those things to parkour to make parkour better.
Mm.
So this is the interdisciplinary work, and this is how it works. And now I think it's the moment for parkour. I really like scientific bouncing Instagram account that talks about the scientific ways to see parkour. I think you haven't seen this account. It's in Instagram.
What's it called? Sorry.
Scientific bouncings. Or scientific bounce or something like that. I will send it to you later.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. And how, for example, Robin the coach, for example, he's got a different way to do the things, but still is good. It's information for the people. It's information that I can take as PE professional. I can take that information and use it in my discipline. And I can take anybody's information and put it in my discipline.
Mm.
Physical literacy is a product of interdisciplinary work as well. As in physical literacy, Whitehead is like the creator of the physical literacy. She says that physical literacy is the connection between the body and the mind. So we've basically got physical activity and psychology putting together, created physical literacy. And physical literacy wasn't only created with psychology, also was created with the point of pedagogy. So we are not looking only for mind or behaviors improvement, we're looking for learning outcomes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the moment for parkour to grow up. We've got potential because we've got the best physical activity in the world. It's based in environment and body movement. Like we've got the best. Like in skate, the limit is gonna be always the skate. In roll skate, the limit is always gonna be the roll skate. But in parkour, there are no limits. Well, your only limit is your body. Once Don Tomato starts breaking his legs, I will stop jumping this height because that will be definitely the top. That will be definitely like the highest a human being can jump. Like imagine that we can create that. At the end, people love the extremes of the sports. So why would you do just judo? Or why would you do just jiu-jitsu if you can do everything? Why would you just do boxing if you can create mixed martial arts and you can just see one person against the other? What happens? So mixed martial arts is what happens. Parkour is the same. How fast, how good can move a human body? Parkour. How far can a human body jump, actually? That's something that I would like to see a world record or something like that of Don Tomato trying to beat the highest height ever jump without parachute.
Without parachute.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Imagine that. World record, no parachute.
But as long as he doesn't land on a rock, like in that clip. Do you see that?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's physical literacy as well. I showed this video to my tutor, and he said he's crazy. And I said, no, he's physical literacy. Because I could tell Don Tomato knew all the time this rock was there. And honestly, I understand this because I know that parkour athletes got really good lineal movement. So I know there is a rock there. There is a rock in my landing, but I don't want to land in the rock. I want to land in the space next to the rock. And I know I can land there, so I'm not going to be worried about that rock. So that's why he did it anyway. So he had self-confidence to do it. He had self-knowledge to know that he could roll or land in the space between the rock and the wall. So he's got self-knowledge, and he's got execution, he's got the preparation, he's got the body. He's strong, he's confident to stop himself. He basically stopped himself with the chest for like 2 floors landing, but he made it. And this is another point that parkour should be taking. There is here is where the interdisciplinary work comes again. And now, instead of psychology, we are working with physiotherapists. I follow a guy in Gran Canaria that he's got a physiotherapy center. His name is Recoverium. He talks about a process in physiotherapy called Homeosis. So I don't know the name in English, sorry, because I would like to know it. But homeosis is a process of adaptation. So basically, the human body is able to adapt. So the training, it's a process of homeosis. Because when we train, we give a stimulus to the body, and we get used to this stimulus. So if you weigh 200 kilos, your body, it's just getting adapted to this weight. Your body is just adapting to it. So if you adapt yourself in the proper way, what could the human body do? Because at the end, we have seen these parkour athletes pushing the limits of the human body so far, and at the end, this is just homeosis. We are seeing limits of the human body that we have never seen. So it scares me a bit how far they can go. Like, how far can go the human body? Where are the limits? Because at the moment, I don't see limits. I just see improvements. I just see bigger things every day. So yeah, it's just like, how much can a human weight? Well, I think the record is half a ton now, I think, on deadlift, sorry.
Yeah.
Half a ton now in deadlift. So this is like parkour as well. Where are the limits? If people keep just training and keep just adapting themselves, what are we gonna see? Someone landing with no parachute from 10 floors building. That's the next thing. Like, so yeah, I love that. I love how physiotherapists and parkour work as well. So, well, sorry, I lost a bit the concentration. So I come back a bit. Yeah. Physiotherapists and parkour. How they work together. So I had a friend as well that he's physiotherapist in Gran Canaria. He's working in Madrid now. And he's physiotherapist, and he said the other day in the Instagram, it's so fun how the people in Spain, it's really disrespectful with parkour some ways. They scream at you, they insult you just for being there, getting ready for a jump. I don't know why it happens, but it happens a lot in Spain. But basically, okay, are you still there? I lost connection for a bit.
I'm still here, yeah, it's alright, yeah.
Good, okay. So basically, he said, it's so fun how I get users every day that come to me because they need to get fixed ankle because they sleep on the stairs. And you are telling me that it's dangerous for me to do this cat lift, for example. But if you sleep on the stairs, you will probably need me to fix every problem of your body. The point here is, parkour creates impact on body. Parkour creates an impact. Parkour creates a simulation of what a fall could be. In every jump, your body is receiving impact. So, this could mean that the human body could get adapted to fall, and people would stop to be getting injured for stupid things like sleeping on the stairs or stepping in the crossroad. You know what I mean? I don't know if I explain myself properly, but at the end, the human body is able to adapt. And I have experienced, I fall a lot. I go biking with no hands because I'm cold on my hands and I fall constantly. And I just stand up and keep going. Falling is something normal for me. I got it. I'm used to it. I fall constantly. I got it in my lifestyle. Falling it's a mindset. It's yeah, I know the floor is there. I know I'm gonna eat it at some point, and I will just get ready for it. Because yeah, everyone's got a bad fail in his life. Everyone. It depends of how ready you are for it, that you're gonna be better or not. Last example, Bactan, a guy from Madrid. Well, not Madrid. He's from just the mainland in Spain, somewhere around there. He had a car accident. He had a bike accident. Basically, a car drove into him on the bike, and he flew around. And he just said that he landed on his feet. He flew because of the car, and he just landed on his feet. And he had nothing. Everything he had was the heat of the car, but he was perfectly. And I was like, well, that's the point of parkour. That's why parkour gets you ready for the life. That's why parkour is so useful. So yeah, we do you see, like, keep the process is always the same. I explain something and I end up saying parkour is so useful because parkour is so useful. Like, parkour is just useful for anything.
Well, thinking further ahead as well, I mean, there's so many people, elderly people, who have falls that cripple them. You know, they break bones. They're sometimes left, you know, just on the floor for hours till help arrives. And man, like, there's a huge area of opportunity there for sure. I mean, also hopefully when we're that age, that we'll still have some sort of awareness.
Yeah, maybe all these theories go down when we reach 80 and we can't move.
Well, it might just result in one moment of like stopping yourself from falling. All this training for years and years and years, you get to 80 years old, and you slowly fall over, and you just have that little bit of awareness left, and you save yourself. Maybe that's what it's all been leading up to.
Well, it's really hard to combine that with life. Well, when you want to teach parkour, but you actually can't have to say, like, okay, I have to stop myself. If I get injured, I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna lose my house. My family's gonna hate me. Well, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the en route to getting a motorbike. I wanted to get a motorbike, and I wanted to go down that route, you know, because I thought, oh, motorbikes are awesome, and I could do with getting another something else apart from just my bike. I don't drive. And then I was looking into the statistics more about bike accidents and stuff, and I was just like, if I can't.
Honestly, Sam, you might be the only person in the world I know who will check at something like bike accidents numbers before buying a bike. Honestly.
Motorbike.
Yeah, like you must be the only person in the world I know who will check for car accidents and bike accidents numbers, honestly. But it's a really nice idea. Like, it's something obvious.
It's because, well, yeah, I think it's because maybe it's an anxious thing, but I think that the idea that I could increase my risk of an injury and that would put me out of parkour, I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
go and have fun on a bike. I know you love biking and stuff, but I mean,
I have fell off my bike like 4 times already, and I'm still alive. So
well, I've got some marks around all my body because of it. But yeah, I have fell 4 times, and honestly, falling from a bike is not that bad. It's quite common. For all the ways of falling from the bike is probably one of my favorites. Yeah.
For a motorbike.
Yeah, from the motorbike. Yeah.
God, Hector. Well, you must have like next level ukemi falling skills then.
Honestly, yeah, you just have to roll around. So it's fine. It's nice. It's nice.
Well,
Anyway, wow.
You've got more questions yet?
Well, I mean, we've been going for an hour. That's been an hour.
We've been here an hour now.
Yeah, man, we've been here for an hour.
Yeah.
You've been in like the flow state, man. You've just been going and going and going.
Yeah. You know, I like talking.
I've not even asked you about your own parkour and stuff, but maybe we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah. I think I really wanted to. Well, first of all, I want to make clear, thanks Sam for what you're doing here, because I said this to you before, but I think every coach that is listening to this need to know this as well. The work that Sam is doing here is probably the one of the biggest works in coaching for parkour have ever been done, because just imagine this: if at the end of this year Sam's got around, how many interviews do you think you could have done for the end of this year, Sam? Being positive.
What you mean total?
Yeah, in total.
35.
35. That's quite a nice number. So imagine this. Imagine I am a coach and I watch every single one of your videos, and I learn something from every single one of these coaches, and I get one idea from every single one of these coaches. Well, I mean, to be fair, everything we do here is improvement. Everything we do here is working for the community, working for the discipline, not only for the community. Because yeah, I've seen Storer and all the athletes talking about the community. We love the community. We are the community. The community. Yeah, but what about the discipline? No one have thought about the discipline. And yeah, I think we overworking the community, and we should start working on the discipline. We should start making parkour professional, because it's not the freak who should do it. It's the professional athletes who have been working for parkour. Me in physical education, you in psychology, whoever in, I don't know, whatever. Parkour is useful in everything. Designing, editing, anything related with what parkour have teach you can be used into the discipline. So yeah, the community is important, but the discipline is more, because we've got something that we could use to our future, and we could make a good life of this. Because yeah, let's be fair. Yeah, I can love parkour, I can love the discipline, I can love the community, but I need to eat, and I need food. And working in the community is gonna be if gonna be a good work for some people, working in the community. But working in the discipline is gonna give us all the community is gonna be influenced by this. All the community is gonna be, is gonna have jobs. Yeah, we can create jobs. This is what it's about. Working in the discipline to create jobs, to create opportunities for the people. Not focusing only in the community aspect, in the, I don't know, because it's important as well. Yeah, it's important. I understand it, but the discipline is being forgotten, and people is not working about it on a professional way. Callum does a bit on the Callum tips, and he's got really nice works. But we should work more in the discipline. Yeah, definitely. I will stop talking. We can leave it for a second time. You might have to do 2 parts of it.
We might have to do another one. We might have to. Well, I mean, we live in the same city, so it's
definitely. Yeah.
it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, we'll leave on that note. Thank you for that. That was a lot of stuff in there. Huge.
Yeah, I hope everyone yeah, I hope everyone just like have this, because of every interview I have seen, I have been able to take something. So I hope just coaches are able to take things from this, and I encourage the coaches to contact me for any information about physical literacy, for any whatever. Honestly, if they need a physical educator to start programs of physical education, parkour, whatever. I'm working now. Okay, this is something I wanted to say as well. I'm working now in a CPD course for PE teachers to start teaching parkour in the physical education. So if anybody wants to add this in your town or you got physical education organizers contact, or you would like to be part of it, just talk to me and contact me, and well, I will be happy to work with anybody, to be fair.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll put all the you got it in there. I'll put all the links for I'll put all the links for Hector and his communication. I can't concentrate. He's just showing off his body. No, he's just showing off his t-shirt. No, he may or may not have just put an energy drink on the screen. Not gonna talk about. No.
Okay.
If you're listening on Spotify, if you look up, you can find all the links for Hector and his work up there. If you're watching on YouTube and you've watched us this whole time, then you can look down in the description for my and Hector's communication details, all that stuff, all the good stuff. If you're listening on Spotify, or if you are perusing on YouTube, you can roll over to the next one, which was episode 16 with the very funny Izzy Skemp. We had a really fun conversation. She's a young female coach from Leicester with jump parkour. We had an awesome talk, really good talk.
Is that in England, Sam? Is she English?
Yes.
The last girl, yeah. She was fun.
Yeah, really fun, really nice. I think we're gonna have to do another one another time.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, thank you, Hector. That was a lot of insight, and
thank you too.
I hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. I know I did. I'm gonna have to re-listen to this a few times, I think. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Hector.
Thank you, Sam.
See you next time, guys.
It was really nice. Okay.
Mwah!